Welcome to the channel. My name is Lee, and today I am sharing with you guys my homemade traveler's notebook. If that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave any questions or comments in the comments section down below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So you guys, actually just 2 videos ago now, I did a tour of my traveler's notebook with a setup that I've been using for a little while. And I really enjoyed that setup. It was great for me, but I'd been seeing other YouTubers in this field making their own traveler's notebooks. And my traveler's notebook, while I really loved it, wasn't my dream traveler's notebook, and it had a few little things about it that were bugging me. So the primary thing ended up being I felt limited with the amount of inserts that I could fit in the journal. So I had that thing pretty packed full with 2 standard size inserts and my planner, plus a pocket insert that I put all of my pens in. And that had that thing pretty darn full. I didn't mind a little bit of overhang from that, but the problem was is that I wanted to add another standard sized insert, and when I did that, it stuck out like a good quarter to a half inch past the outside of the planner, which that's just no good. So very literally, like, I think the day after I posted my tour of my traveler's notebook, I went ahead and ordered some leather. And when I got home, I made myself this beautiful blue traveler's notebook. I have the exact same setup in here that I did with my old traveler's notebook, except I did get to add that extra journal in there. And now, because of this flap over the side, I can fill this thing quite a lot before I have to worry about anything busting out of it. So I am going to do a quick overview of this, and you guys are getting a special treat today. So the leather that I purchased had some scraps left over, so I am going to make a, I don't know yet if, oh gosh, this is the time to decide, either a passport size or a pocket sized little traveler's notebook out of my scrap fabric, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So first, let me show you the traveler's notebook, and then I will show you how to make one. Okay, so here we have the old traveler's notebook, and here is my new one. I'm just going to do a quick tour with you guys. It's got a black elastic here and a silver metal clip. It's got a nice little flap to protect the edges of my pages, and then literally everything else is exactly the same as it was in the last video. I have my card insert right here, kind of surrounding everything, and that's clipped in place with my planner. Then I have my long form journal. I've got my craft journal with a sketchbook in it. And this is the the extra insert that I added, which is the homemade insert. And lastly, we have the pouch of pins. So there it is. I've really been enjoying using this planner. I love it so much more than the other one. And it cost me only a little over $30 to make this. So that's really, really, really cool. So now that you have seen an example of what one of these could potentially look like, let me go ahead and go over the materials that you're going to need. Leather, elastic, an awl or some form of leather hole punch. Scissors or some kind of cutting device. The inserts that you plan to use in your journal. These are for measurement. And optional, but highly recommended, a lighter and some kind of cutting mat. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your leather. I got mine from a brand called Ring Sun. I'm not going to leave any links in the description just because I do encourage you to find something local if you can. But Ring Sun, these has turned out to be really nice. So I do recommend them. Check them out if you want to. But anyway, you need your leather. And you need the items that you are going to use to fill your journal to start off with. And basically what we're doing here is determining how much of this leather that we need in order to make the journal. I'm going to flip this over to make it a little more workable. And I'm taking 4 of these because I want to have a lot of space. So for me, I am going to make a similar design that I did to my larger journal. And so I want a little bit of space at the top, a little bit of space on the side, and a little bit of space on the bottom. And I am going to mark these with a pencil, like where I want that to be. And really this is just scratching. And then from here, I'm going to fold this over. I'm actually thinking I might just cut this straight across and that'll be perfect. Because this fits in here, I'm actually going to use this guillotine that I have. I used it on the other one and it made better cuts than my, actually this isn't a guillotine. I don't know what this is called. The craft cutter, I guess. I'm going to use this instead of the scissors. You could use an X-Acto knife to finish this off. I'm going to finish it off with the scissors. And I'm not being graceful about this. I'm not going to be like super precise in my measurements here because every time I make one of these, I mean, this is only my second time doing it, but I'm not using like a scaled up or scaled down design. I'm literally just creating a new design every time I do it, and that's going to suit the needs that I desire for my journal. And that's what I encourage you to do, is to be creative and find ways to make it work for you. So here we have the leather all cut out. And I'm going to take my journal here as my inserts here again and make sure that they fit properly. And it looks like they do. And I'm going to figure out where do I want this to fold. And that is going to be necessary for finding where you want your spine to be. And I actually do like this quite a lot. So I think that's where I want my spine to be. And I'm just going to take my pencil again and mark where I want all of the holes for the elastic to go. Now, if you look at a traveler's notebook, This is actually a really great place to figure this stuff out. So you can see that there's actually 4 holes for the center band and 1 hole for the outer elastic. And basically you're just going to create a loop that goes along the inside, and then just a standard knot to hold the middle one in place. So we're going to imitate that in ours. So I'm going to mark a center spot for the outer elastic, or where I want that to go. You can use a ruler for this and make it more precise if you want to. And I'm going to mark right here, about right here, for the corners. And I'm doing about an inch apart for these top and bottom holes. Okay. Next up, I'm going to grab my mat here. And this is just to protect the table. And we are going to use our awl, or whatever we're using to make our holes, and we're going to punch holes in the spots where we want them to be. And I'm going to punch all the way through, and I'm going to go a little bit farther in to widen that hole. This is what your holes are going to look like. You want it to be kind of wide because it is going to be surprisingly difficult to get your elastic through these holes. And as you can see, I'm literally just eyeballing this. This is how I did the other one. This is my style, I guess, is to kind of wing my craft projects. I tend not to stress too much if they're not perfect. And all right, sorry. So now we have our holes punched, and we are going to make our center band elastic. So you are going to take your elastic, and you need a little, about a little more than double the length of the journal. This is just going to give you a little extra space to tie off the elastic. And this is also where your lighter comes in handy, because it is challenging to get this elastic through those holes. And this is just going to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to go in. You might even need to use your awl to get this to go all the way. Use your awl to get it to go all the way through. I'm going to start at not the edge hole, but the second hole. I'm going to pull that through. Oh wait, well, that works. I'm going to take the other end and go through the edge because it really doesn't matter. Basically, you want this to be out here on this section, not all the way across. Okay. Now you're going to take this side that is coming out of the edge, and you're going to put this, actually this will be a little, yeah. You're going to take this side and you're going to stick it through the edge side hole on the other side. So you're going all the way across, putting it through there. And I'm just using my awl to widen that hole. Okay. And I'm gonna stick this that I just pulled out of here into that last hole. Okay, so now you have your elastic in place, and I'm just going to even these out a bit. So I'm going to pull this, pull that, and pull this. And this doesn't have to be like super taut, but you do want it to be a little bit taut. And now we are just going to take these two pieces and tie a loop in them. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and test this out. Make sure that it will hold its shape. And I'm going to loosen this a little bit because I think I made it just a touch too tight. Okay, so now I am going to snip the extra off. Come on. And just burn those together. Okay. Now we have the basic shape of our notebook mapped out, and all we have left to do is add the outer band. So again, you want it a little bit longer than you think you might need. I'm going to wrap this around a little bit more than once. And cut it. And these need to go through this hole together. So what I'm actually going to do is burn these and melt them into one pointed piece. So just be really careful with this, and it does stink. And I'm going to widen my hole here just to make this easier. But you don't want to make it too wide because you don't want the knot to come through. Okay. And you also want this to be a little bit taut, but not too taut. I think this is going to be a good length right here. So I'm just pulling it to the edge. And I'm going to tie a knot on the inside. Before I cut off the excess, I'm going to test it out again, and I'm going to put 3 journals in here. Just to make sure that it will go over. It does, so that's great. It's a little bit looser than I would like. Okay, so I just gently tightened that a little bit. I'm going to cut the excess off again, and I'm going to burn that down so it doesn't fray. And we do need at least 1 jump band. So I'm going to make a jump band very easily by cutting a length of string and tying it together. Sorry, not a length of string, a length of elastic. All right. The last thing I'm going to do is use my scissors to make rounded corners because I think that looks better. And I'm just gonna wing it here. And then I also like to take my lighter and kind of run it along the edge, just to take care of some of that fraying from the leather. And this will stink a little bit. Cool. Let me show you what it looks like with the journals. This is going to be my center journal here. And what I like to do is, for 3 journals, I'll take my jump band and just wrap it around the center journal. And now I have space for 2 more. One here and one here. And that is our completed homemade pocket-sized traveler's notebook. just a couple small things to consider if you decide to do this yourself. For this one, I did lay it under a heavy book overnight to get it to kind of flatten out. So you'll notice that this is kind of still a little bit misshapen. And so that helped a lot. And also, I've been using this for a couple, maybe 2 to 3 weeks now. And this leather has actually relaxed quite a lot with use. So even though this feels kind of thick and bulky and like not very pliable, it does not take a lot of time for this to kind of relax and start to feel more natural. Yeah, so if you enjoyed that little tutorial, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. A quick little channel update. I've decided that I want to start making more videos. And I've also been thinking about how I want to structure that because I love doing these like journal oriented and pen oriented videos. And I also, just for my own enjoyment, like to do vlogs. But generally speaking, I feel like I think it's mostly related to the algorithm, but my vlogs don't do very well. And it seems like people either don't like them or it's just not being shared. Regardless of the reason, I still want to make them. So what I'm gonna do is continue my Wednesday uploads of my journaling content. And when I do vlogs, those are gonna be bonus videos and I'll post those the next Friday. So you will go from potentially one video a week to 2 videos a week. And I do wanted to just also apologize for missing last week's video. I did have a video ready for you guys, but I didn't feel totally satisfied with it. And I was just too busy to film another one. So my husband went off to Chicago for the next 3 months, and I just really wanted to focus my last week with him on him. And so, yeah, anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and I'll see you next time.